You all enjoy the refreshing lunch and are engaging conversation like I do. Okay, honest. My name is Bahai Tambu, and I will be your master of ceremony for this segment of the program. And it's my honor to officially welcome you to the afternoon session of our 70th Multi-Disciplinary Seminar, organized and sponsored by SMU. This afternoon, we will continue our intellectual exploration with another exciting lineup of presentations. Our speakers will delve into diverse topics, like the theme of the seminar says, it's a multidisciplinary seminar. The topics range from internationalization and innovation in small and micro enterprises to IoT-driven digital irrigation, e-marketing strategies, and the one that's very close to us, factors affecting student learning outcome. Each of these discussions promises to shed light on critical issues and innovative solutions to Ethiopia and beyond. These discussions are not only academically enriched, but also highly relevant to Ethiopia's development and aspirations. This session will be followed by a dedicated discussion panel. So please prepare your questions and observations, as your active participation inside is what makes the seminar truly valuable. Mr. Shimelis Tambu will chair this session. Mr. Shimelis is a PhD candidate and is currently an academic and research coordinator in the office of the President of St. Louis University. I'd also like to acknowledge the rapporteur, Mr. Tesfakiden Admasu, who is the head of the Department of Agriculture and Development Studies in the College of Open and Distance Learning. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming the chair, Mr. Shimelis, and the rapporteur, Tesfakiden, to the stage. Thank you, and let's make this afternoon was productive and inspiring.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. This is the afternoon session. In this afternoon session, we will have 4 papers that will be presented by 4 scholars. Okay. One is Atomokonnen Tadase from St. Mary's University, with the topics of internationalizations and innovation and small and medium enterprises from developed and developing countries, which is a systematic literature review. The second is IoT-driven digital irrigation application for sustainable agricultural productions in urban vertical farming and semi-arid regions of Ethiopia, and Alam Tamaskin from Arba Minchi University. The third is the effect of e-marketing and the consumer purchase intentions, the case of Ambassa Beer by Getaun Shiferra from GTA Ethiopia. And the last paper is identifying critical factors affecting student learning outcomes, quantitative studies using RII and the group index methodology by Tashale Tashome, PhD from St. Mary's University. Now, I will invite 4 of the presenters here. Atomokonnen. Atomokonnen first.
Okay. My presentation is focused on internationalization and innovation in small and medium enterprise. It is a systematic literature review. As Mr. Shimelis introduced, my name is Makonnen. I am a PhD student from University Cattolica, Italy. So this review outlines all these parts. It has its own introduction, and I try to pin out the research gaps and research questions and methodology. And there is also a PRISMA framework. As usual, the systematic literature requires PRISMA. And there is a background in theoretical foundation, and later on I collected the theoretical framework. And this review also included the bibliometric finding, and there are 4 thematics, and there is a cluster synthesis. And lastly, I tried to put some conclusion and future research directions. The research is totally focused on internationalization and innovation and small and medium enterprise, the 3 keywords. So it is a buzzword. Repeatedly, I call the word innovation, internationalization, and the SME, because all the papers are rounding on these 3 keywords. In the introduction parts, the role of SME in the global economy, as you know, the SME is dominant, is 90% of the world's enterprises are small and medium enterprise. More than 50% of total employees is taken by this small and medium enterprise. All the developing country, American and so on, other countries are grows and develop their economy based on the small and medium enterprise. And exports accounts more than 78% around the world is carried out by the small and medium enterprise. So there is a debate, innovation and internationalizations in small and medium enterprise. So in the innovation, mostly in developing country, is very low, especially in the small and medium enterprise. There is also a problem or challenging relationship between innovation and internationalization. Because mostly we assume that when a company innovates a product, it pushes to the outside world or to meet the internationalization or exports. On the other side, when the firms export product to outside of the country, it has an advantage to get the innovation of the products. Because let's say one X company produces something and export to the Y country. The Y country customer's taste is different. When that customer tastes that product, they give some comments to that company. The company again innovate to that product. It means internationalization and innovation has a relationship. They have a bi-directional relationships. SME in developing countries is understudied. Most of literature are focused in the developing country. When I reviewed the literature, I found there are some theoretical gap on the internationalization and innovation, because most literature, most theories are developed in the developing country. Most theories, innovation theory, dynamic theory, observation capacity, and so on. Most of the theory are developed in USA or in UK or Germany, mostly in USA and UK. So this theory may not cover the interest of developing countries, company or businesses. Most scholars in the developing country taking the theory of those who developed in the developing country. That is some problem and gaps. On the other hand, when I check it, there is no a systematic review that focus especially in the small and medium enterprises, comparatively compare the developing and developing country. In systematic literature review, mostly requires a small question, 1 or 2. So my question is 2, what is the relationship between internationalization and innovation in SME across different regions? The second question is, what are the implications of future research? The methodology, it's known that it is systematic literature review. The database I used, Scopus and Web of Science, because it is the known database. Most quality literature are found on these 2 databases. the time frame I collected from 1990 up to 2024. All this literature printed or published during these periods. Article reviewed. Lastly, I have got that 94 articles, full text reading. I took it. The analysis, my analysis is bibliometric as well as thematic clustering. I took both analysis. I use the Prisma tool. It is required in the systematic literature review. This dual system is very important to validate your study. The Prisma flow diagram, you can look at it. The initial record is 3,343, but lastly I have got it 94. You can look at it if it is clear. I don't know. Is it clear, the figure? Okay. So the record is initially the database. It contains Scopus and Web of Science. 680 I've got from the Scopus database. As I informed you that the keywords are totally focused on internationalization, small business, and innovation. So in Scopus, starting from 1990 up to 2024, there are only 618 literature. On the other hand, Web of Science, 2,663. Total 3,343 articles have been found from the two databases. When I merged the two, and I have got that 401 is duplicated. It's found both in the Web Science and in the database. Lastly, I have got it 2,942. The last screen articles. So the record, later on the record excluded, found that 2,836. Lastly, the article which is focused on my keywords is around 106 articles. Among these, I couldn't retrieve, I couldn't get it, the 6 articles because of their different phases. It requires some fee or different reasons. So later on, the last one is 100 reports assessed for eligibility. 6 are excluded from this 100 because I go through full text to this 100 literature. Then the 6 out of this does not related with my topic. And later on, 94 is the last article which I reviewed full text for this study. So let me give you some background and theoretical foundation or the definition of the 3 keywords. SME is defined in different ways, mostly on the number of employees, on the capitals, and so on. When you look at it, the number of employees in Europe, mostly they use that less than 250 employees are assigned on the small and medium enterprise. In USA is up to 500 employees. Those companies who have up to 500 employees are named to be a small and medium enterprise. In China, it is up to 2,000 employees. In Ethiopia, it is about 10 employees up to 100 is small and medium enterprises. Innovation is defined by OSED and Oslo manuals. Innovation is significantly improved product, process, marketing, and organizational practices. This innovation mostly any product which has become new for the company, as well as it has become new for the market, or it may become new for the global market. So all these products can be called as innovative product or innovation. Internationalization also explained in different ways. Internationalization means it is selling the product across the board. It means export. On the other hand, importing the product to the local country, that is also internationalization. Is FDI and so on. All these alliance, partnership, all are included in the internationalizations. This is the theoretical framework. Among the 94 articles, I found that there are so many theories the researchers are used. So among these theories, most of the researchers used these 4 theories, mostly or repeatedly. The resource-based view, the dynamic capability theory, the absolute capacity theory, and organizational learning theory. These 4 theories are serving in the internationalization and innovation and small business literature. Mostly those writers are using the 4 theories. Now let me give you to the finding. The finding in bibliometric finding, the first one is it clear the numbers? I think it's not. The literature, this internationalization innovation is mostly started in the year 2002 with one literature and grows in the year of 2022. It is around 17 articles are found during this year. It showed that in the year of 2000, most literature are focusing on the internationalization and innovation and small business. So regarding the economic status, most of the literature published in the developed country, it is. Okay, I should rush. Okay, so in the developing country, most literature are published. Geographical trend, when you look at it, the graph, it is around, mostly in Europe, is the highest article are published. The industry type, when you look at the industry type, most of the literature contains various industry, and on the other hand, manufacturing focused literature are highly published. The methodological landscape of this article are, most of them are quantitative. You can look at the graph. It is a pity that in the qualitative as well as case studies in this area have not yet done. The journal sources are mostly Journal of Business Research, Technological Forecasting, and International Business Review. Most research are published on these 3 journals. This is the last finding. This is a major terms and cluster synthesis. Internationalization and innovation literature, I clustered into 4 groups. The first one is internationalization as a driver of innovation in developed country. On the second clusters, innovation capability and internationalization in developing country. The third one is intermediary variable, because the relationship between internationalization and innovation, there is so many mediators. I have got it from the literature. Lastly, the impact of drivers of innovation types on the internationalization. There are so many types of innovation, we can look at it. This is the model, what I have got from the literature when I read these 94 articles. When I related each article from one to the others, I've got this model, and it is better to run to the clusters. Internationalization as driver of innovation in developing country. In developing countries, there is a great connection between internationalization and innovation. It means in the company in developed country, first they export their product because they do have an innovative product. Their product is quality. When you look at it, Europe, China, German or UK, they have an innovative product. Because of that innovative product, they can easily join to the international arena. So it is so simple for them to join the export market. But after joining the export market, let's say they join the Ethiopian market, they test the customer need of the Ethiopian people, and they integrate and other re-innovate their products. It means in developed country, the path is from internationalization to innovation. Later on, the innovation to internationalization it becomes. So during these ways, there are absorptive capacity as well, because their human capital is great. So let's jump to cluster 2. In cluster 2, innovation capability, and internationalization in developing country. When you look at it in the developing country, it is not directly came from the internationalization to the innovation. In developing countries, their product is low in quality, so it requires innovation as a prerequisite to join the international market. The main literature, I have got it and understand between the two economic area, that is innovation is a prerequisite for developing country. So the cluster 3 is intermediary. There are so many intermediary, innovation and internationalization. Between them, there should be networking. Without networking, you can't get international market, you can't innovate a product. It is required social knowledge, culture, entrepreneurial profile, international experience. It's required. Absorptive capacity, it's required. So the last one is impact level of innovation. There are so many innovation. Product innovation, process innovation, organizational innovation, marketing innovation, business model innovation, and the co-innovation. There are so many types of innovation. All these innovation have relationship with internationalization. This is the cluster 4 is showing that. Lastly, the conclusion. I think I came to the time. In the conclusion part, thank you. This study examines how internationalization and innovation link together. And I understand how this relationship goes between in the small and medium enterprises. And the study is between 2002 and 2022. As I informed you that the research literature taking the time from the 1990, but the research which is focused on the internationalization and innovation started in the year of 2002. It is a young, it is an infant. So the key finding is developing country benefited from internationalization. The developing country have a challenging problem like resource problem, barriers, and limiting of their human capital and so on. There are intermediary variables. There are so many intermediary variables. I have got it from the literature. The innovation type also, as I informed you, that there are so many innovation types. Lastly, I put the future research direction. So the future research direction explore internationalization impact on the innovation. Most research focuses innovation to internationalization, not from internationalization to innovation. So it is better to study more starting from the internationalization to innovation. Why not the company directly export their product and bring innovation from outside? Investigate intermediary variables. And government support also requires to subsidize those small and medium enterprises. Most American small medium enterprises are subsidized by government. They have grown. In Ethiopia, for instance, in Addis Ababa, there are more than 2,000 small and medium enterprises. They don't have highly government support, and they have so many challenges. So it's required service sector. Most research focus on the manufacturing, on the product, not on the service sector. So it's required to focus also in the service sectors. Comparative analysis is required from one innovation type to the others. Lastly, technology can digitalization. Currently, AI and AIoT, Internet for Things, are a major issue. It is a buzzword. How AI is used for this small end business, how AI is used for exports and internationalization. So it is better to study with these new technologies. Lastly, challenging in developing country. We have seen that so many challenges in the developing country. I think I managed my time. Thank you so much. I ran as a marathon. Thank you so much.
My name is Edimialam Tamaskan. Okay, thank you. Anyways. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairperson, and thank you, St. Mary University, that invited me to present my research work on this 70th multidisciplinary seminar that sharing the work. My presentation is on the title of IoT-driven digital irrigation application for sustainable agriculture, production in both urban vertical farming and semi-arid irrigation, which is focused on the technology that's IoT, Internet of Things, digital systems, in water scarcity area in urban and semi-arid regions. This is the content of the presentation, and let me go to the introduction. As introduction, smart water management strategies by supporting digital technology like IoT is can play a vital role in enhance or improve the crop productivity and minimize the inputs like irrigation waters. And among this technology or digital technology, IoT is the best one to digitize the technology by giving at real time and accurate data. And it is used to optimize the irrigation schedule by control how much water apply and when we apply, by giving a data at real time and accurate data. It is a monitor. Its system is a monitor which is used to control how much water we apply and when we apply. And it is significant to reduce water wastages or water losses and improve the crop health or productivity when we use these systems, this technology, and the other ones increase or enhance or improve the yields, any yields when we use these systems. We integrate to the sensors, the physical sensors. And the problem that initiative to do this research work is one, traditional irrigation methods are still widely used in Ethiopia as well as in Africa, in farm community as well as in research community that simply collect secondary data and design and then apply their researches using furrow irrigation and other irrigation technology like drip or pressurized irrigation by collecting secondary data. And the second one is water is applied insufficient or reduced crop yields and resource wisely. Resource wastes. And the other ones, IoT-based irrigation technologies remains still underutilized in Ethiopia. And the other ones, knowledge gaps are there. That's IoT-based or digital irrigation system or agriculture systems in Ethiopia. These are the problems that initiated to do this research. Therefore, the general objective or the objective of this research is to evaluate IoT-driven digital irrigation application for sustainable agriculture production in both urban farming, vertical farming, and in semi-arid regions, that's in water scarcity area. And the specific objective of this research is one, to evaluate the crop yield and water use efficiency by comparing usual irrigation water application, that is the farmer or the research is usually applied as conventional irrigation with comparing to IoT digital irrigation systems. And the second one is assess economical viability and cost effectiveness of IoT irrigation system or IoT-driven irrigation system. And the third one is identify the challenges. When we use these systems, there is a challenge. So identify which challenge is very high, affected the systems and the productivity and scalability of factors in pre-urban and semi-arid regions. And when I come to the materials and methods, the study areas was conducted in both pre-urban, that means Arba town, and semi-arid around Arba, that's Shelley, lowlands, that's semi-arid region, and water scarcity area. These are the two study area which was conducted, our researches. And the experimental design is random complete design. This is among the agricultural or practical or experimental methods. Among these random complete block designs we used, and the treatments are two. That is conventional. That's manually applied irrigation water. That's obvious. And the second one is IoT-based automatic irrigation. That's our researches. And we use two types of crops. That's tomato for urban and wheat for semi-arid regions. And we used 24 plots totally. That's 15 meter square each, because of this is experimental researches. And IoT-based irrigation systems has around, we used around 3 technologies, that's physical soil moisture sensor, by integrating with the LoRa one for long-range, low-power data transfers. It is due to transfer the data from the sensor to the clouds, and then it's accepted by COM technology that is due to transfer the data from the cloud to our machine, like computer or smartphones. These are the technology we use to drive the data from the fields or for the physical environment to our storage data. And what is the function of IoT? Digitalized. It is trickle irrigation when moisture drops below the threshold, sends data to cloud platform for at real time and accurate data, and then transfer by COM technology to our machine. That's by computer or smartphone, and then we apply irrigation based on this alarming of this technology. And we used crop and management based on the standardized of any literature like FAO. We used seedling, transplanted tomato spacing. With these are the management systems, and we used the irrigation schedule control based that visual farmers used and researchers, and the other ones IoT plots irrigation automatically when moisture is threshold crosses. This is one methodology. And flow meters, we measure water when we apply irrigation water by using partial volume machines or instruments or devices. And when collect the data, once we collect soil moisture data using IoT-based sensors, and to check its performance using the gravimetric, that's gravity through gravimetric laboratory systems, in order to check the performances when we collect the data using the IoT sensors. And the other data is agronomic data that's sealed from both crops, tomato and wheat. And the other one, what is how much we applied using irrigation, that's IoT-based irrigation and conventional irrigation. We also have data about water use in both systems or strategies. And the seventh one is economical analysis of IoT-based irrigation system and also conventional irrigation, which one is the initial cost, that's net profit and best benefit cost ratio of IoT-based irrigation and conventional irrigation systems. And when I come to result and discussion, IoT-based irrigation to improve tomato yields and water use efficiencies, that yields from IoT is around 38 ton per hectare, which is increased 90.8% when we compare to the conventional or normal irrigation application. And the water use when we use IoT-based irrigation system is decreased around 26.7%, which means that when we use IoT-based irrigation, IoT-based digital irrigation system it is 3,300 metric cube per hectare. But when we use conventional, it is around 4,000 metric cube per hectare. So when we compare to this conventional and IoT-based digital irrigation, it is decreased 26.7%. And when we use water use efficiency, when we compare to both IoT-based digital irrigation and also conventional, around 63.9% is increased when we compare the conventional or as visual irrigation systems. And also the stability of this IoT-based irrigation system is around 6.2 and compared to 8.5 because of it is below 7%. That's the CV is below 7%. It is good stability. And for specific wheat crops, that is in semi-arid region, yield from IoT is 3.1 ton per hectare. That's 90.2% increase as compared to the conventional irrigation. And water use for this system is decreased 21.9%, and then compared to the conventional irrigation. And water use efficiency is increased 52.6% when you compare usual irrigation systems. And the stability for this is 30.8%, which is compared to decrease into 8.6. That's below 10%. It is still good stability of IoT for with irrigation systems or with farming systems. And then the economical gains in urban tomato production is the first year or the first season, crop season is IoT from economical net profit from IoT is 224,000 Ethiopia per hectare. That's the benefit cost ratio is 2.78. And then the next seasons or the next years, subsequent years, net profit is increased from the previous ones, that's 233 Ethiopia per hectare, and also based benefit cost ratio also increased from the previous ones. And when we compare these two findings or results to the conventional one is the initial also best one, the conventionals. After we install the systems, the cost is increased because of it needs only maintenance and operation costs, unless the initial costs minimized. And so it's compared to the conventional or as usual irrigation systems, it is better. Okay. And then with economical in semi-arid context, first year net profit is around 155 Ethiopia per hectare, and benefit cost ratio also 1.21. And the late season or late season also profit is increased 175, around 175 Ethiopia per hectare. And base benefit cost ratio also increased from 1.2 to 1.5. So as this indicate, after we install these systems, it needs the operation and the maintenance cost only. And then the challenges and the recommendation which faced during this develop the systems, once connected, it needs the connection systems, and around the remote area poor internet is there. So this is one challenge. And the other one's power supply, it needs a power supply. So limit access to reliable electricity in a remote area, this is one challenge, because of the needs a power supply. And as I have seen in the result, the initial cost is high. After we install the systems, the initial cost is minimized, so the benefit, the net profit is increased. And the other one is lack of technical know how to use these systems because of the farming, our community, farmers not known, but we can develop this system by using training system, training. Farmers need to train, use the maintain how to operate this IoT system when we apply irrigation water. And then the recommendation of this one is use a power supply using solar power. This one recommended. And the other one connectivity deploy LP1 technology, that is connectivity system, and affordable implement subsidies and cooperative ownership or cost sharing. And the other one, technical skills, provide training programs by develop the program, training program, and give the training to the farmers, the community, the researcher, and adapt the systems. And the other one, sensor reliability, support local research and development, and develop durable and affordable sensors by integrating low cost or affordable soil moisture sensor in order to minimize the initial costs. And when I come to the conclusion, efficient water use, IoT-based derived irrigation is boosted water use efficiency, as we have seen in the result, and reduce water losses. We are in precise on demand irrigation during dry season as well as in water scarcity area. By using this digital technology, we can minimize the loss of water. Not only loss of water, we can use this integrating by integrating with any sensors. We can minimize the loss of input materials like fertilizer and so on. And the other one, improved crop performance, high grain yield, that's 4.2 per hectare, and increased biomass and others. And stability soil moisture is good in IoT-based irrigation system. Sustainability, it is sustained by using different trainings, by giving any training about this for farmers and research community, and it can sustain. And the recommendation for this research is reduce water wastes and increase yields and scale through collaboration. To minimize this initial costs, we should collaborate with any concerning institute, focus on affordable, reliable, and user-friendly sensor for smallholder farmers, and anyone can use IoT3 local researches. Now we develop low-cost soil moisture. It is on progress. And then we integrate this IoT with this low or affordable soil moisture sensor. By using this, we can minimize the initial costs. This is all about my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I would like to thank St. Mary University for arranging such kind of forums, especially for us who are in the business sector. This is a very good opportunity for us to just share what we have developed in the business sector. So I'm also honored to just present my research on this forum. So my research title is in the effect of e-marketing on consumer purchase intention. I selected Ambassador for this research purpose. My presentation is outlined, as you can see, into 7 contents. Each one has only 1 slide, so I'm presenting you like a top line of my research findings. So I will start by exploring onto the research context and problem, objective, methodology, key findings, why these research results, conclusion and recommendation, and the final will be limitation and future researches. So when we see the research context and problem, when I start from the problem, back in 2019, the AFDA proclamation number 1112/2019 has banned ATL or above the line communication or advertising alcohol and other alcoholic products in the mass media. That resulted in all breweries, especially in the FMCG and beverage sector, to just adopt e-marketing practices. This was the first problem. There was also limited research on e-marketing impact on Ethiopia's beer market. And the third one is the need to evaluate effective e-marketing practices. The research gaps that I have identified was like how e-marketing affects consumer purchase intention. This is the first presentation. So let me go through the conceptual frame, the research objective. The goal of this research was to test the effectiveness of e-marketing variables, which are 5 of them: influencer marketing, social media marketing, search engine optimization, email marketing, and mobile marketing on the purchase intention. On this specific research is Ambassador. The conceptual framework was based on hierarchy of effects and uses and gratification theories. The use and gratification theory explains why consumers engage with e-marketing, while the hierarchy of effects theory helps assess their behavioral intent after exposure. When we see the methodological part, there are like 3 parts that I'm going to explain here. The approach I followed was quantitative survey, descriptive and explanatory. The sample size was 376 valid responses, and the study area is only at this, and we have selected these respondents based on their use of devices, because we are evaluating e-marketing. They need to have Android device or iOS users. All of them are above 21 and 64. It's because of the proclamation, which strictly prohibits to research anyone below the age of 21. The analysis that I have followed onto this research finding was, I just used SPSS. which is descriptive statistics, regression, and correlation analysis. The key findings. When we see the key findings, when the descriptive and the descriptive analysis, the highest means are social media marketing, which has 14.717, influencer marketing around 13.24. As you can see from the presentation, these are the two variables who has highest mean, which indicates consumers are engaging in social media marketing and influencer marketing highly. In the correlation analysis, as you can see, all variables are positively correlated with purchase intention, which is the independent variable. The strongest variables are influencer marketing, which has 0.7, social media marketing, 0.64, and search engine optimization, which has 0.51. The weakest correlation was recorded in email marketing, which is 0.28, and mobile marketing around 0.32. So when we see the beta values, the R square is around 0.61, which is not presented here, but you can understand from the last slide, the last box, which explains the model is 61% of the model is model of variance in purchase intention. The strongest influence in the beta value is influencer marketing, which has 0.43 value, the social media marketing around 0.29, and search engine optimization around 0.28. These are strong influence, has strong influence on purchase intention, while mobile marketing and email marketing has insignificant Why these research results? Why did we find these research results? I just put it into 3 boxes. The first one is influencer marketing and the social media marketing, which has highest value. The search engine optimization, which has the middle value, which has recorded middle value, and the email or mobile marketing, which has insignificant value. The first finding that I just, because as I have said earlier, this is a top line of my research, so that I'm giving you the cream of the cake, not the whole presentation. So in influencer marketing and social media marketing, trust and engagement found to have drive purchase or purchase intention. Consumer actively on the search engine optimization, why they just recorded need was like consumers are searching actively for beer information. On the email and mobile marketing part, it has low relevance and oversaturation. When we say low relevance from the finding, emails usually been sent to consumers and customers, but most of the people are not opening their emails because of they consider sometimes it's a spam. When we see the mobile marketing, most people find it to be kind of naggy and somehow not relevant for driving purchase intention. So what we can conclude from this, influencer marketing and social media marketing are highly effective strategies, while search engine optimization needs refinement to improve visibility. Email marketing and mobile marketing need rethinking and better integration. So what's my recommendation based on the finding? We need to double down on email and influencer marketing, social media marketing. We need to prioritize, or the company needs to prioritize partnering with influencer, boost social media marketing content, especially video and user-generated contents, and prioritize or optimize search engine optimization specifically for local search. And the company needs also to fix or improve personalized email campaigns. When they just send email, it needs to get the attention of the end user and also enhance mobile ads, for example, SMS and app notification. What are the limitations of the research, and my recommendations for future researches are, in the future research, it needs to include rural areas, since I have included only Addis. it should also consider cultural factors that can influence the outcomes and demographics, because I have included only 21 to 64. We need to understand also the higher consumer segment and the lower consumer segment. The socio-economic class also needs to be considered in the future research considerations. The limitations are, it's only urban, only Addis Ababa, which is not inclusive of the national or the country. 39% has unexplained variance, which needs to be understood and researched. And for this research, I only selected 5 e-marketing practices for this research. The other ones needs to be included for future research as well. Thank you. I guess I just managed my time very well.
My name is Dr. Tashala Tashoma. My research is identifying critical factors affecting students' learning outcome, a quantitative study using relative importance index and the group index methodology. Now, my research has 6 parts. The first part is introduction part. The second one is literature review part. The third is research methodology part. The fourth one is result and interpretation part. The fifth one is discussion part. And the sixth one is conclusion and the recommendation part. Now, I will take most of the time by presenting by myself, because I want to use my time effectively. I will present everything in my oral presentation. Now, you know that in the current educational reform is measuring students' outcome by using 2 exams, university entrance exam and university exit exam. So, according to the data of Ministry of Education, most of the students have failed in both the exams, in the entrance exam and in the exit exam. That is why I am interested to conduct a study on this part. Basically, my research focus on university exit exam, specifically in the case of private universities. The purpose of this study is to identify and categorize the critical factors that affect students' university exit result, exit exam result. So, to do this, initially, in this study, I have conducted intensive literature survey to identify the factors that affect students' university exit result. As a result, about 29 factors were identified from literature survey. So, following that, since my research focused on private universities, therefore, I have defined a sample frame, and I have considered St. Mary's University's undergraduate school. St. Mary University's undergraduate school. So my population was about 5,424 students. They are categorized into 4 basic departments. Most of them are categorized into 4 basic departments. The departments are accounting, management, marketing, and computer science. Most of them are categorized into these 4 departments. So, following this, what I have done is I have prepared a questionnaire based on a 5-point Likert scale and distributed to students which were identified by using stratified sampling technique. Now, you know that what I have said earlier, there are about 5,424 students. So using Yamane equation, I have calculated a sample size. Then I have categorized these students into 4 stratas because in every department, different number of students are there. So finally, I have collected the response from the students. Then I have applied different statistical tests. The first test which was applied is reliability test in order to understand the consistency between the items. The second statistical test is Spearman rank correlation test to understand the level of agreement between departments. And finally, the third one is I have applied factor analysis to reduce these 29 critical factors into smaller number of components. So before applying the factor analysis, I have tested two issues. The first one is sample adequacy issue. The second one is multicollinearity issue. Therefore, the result shows that the sample adequacy is very much enough, or statistically it is good to continue the research. Again, there is a significant correlation between the items. So by using this one, I have reduced these 29 factors into 7 components, and all these 29 factors are categorized into 7 components. So I have calculated the relative importance index of each factor. Then finally, under each group, I have calculated the group index. Finally, I have identified 3 components that impacted more the students' exit exam result. That is why I have done in my research work. Let me go through in detail. Now, I have taken, or I have referred, Ministry of Education website, and I have got 2016 result report. In that report, I have tried to compare both government and private universities, what they have achieved in university exit results. So the result shows that totally in 2016, 59 universities, students from 59 universities in government school have taken the exam. Again, students from 202 universities from private universities have taken the exam. The total number of universities, the total number of students in the government school have almost above 66,000. Again, in the case of private universities, about 65,000. But when we check the passing rate, in the case of government university, the passing rate is about 55%. But in the case of private university, the passing rate is about 23%. Now, finally, I have calculated the group index. The group index here, the group index shows that in the case of public institution, the group index is about 1.41. That means from the average, 41% students pass above the minimum setting in the case of public university or in the case of government universities. But in the case of private universities, the group index shows that 0.59. That means 41% of the students have below the mean value. Because from the graph, it shows that the aggregate average passing rate of students in both types of universities is about 39.1%. In the case of private universities, about 23%. In the case of government universities, about 55%. When we calculate the group index, the result shows the public institution or the government institution is about 1.41. That means 41% of students have passed more than the minimum standard. But in the case of private university, 41% below the minimum standard. This shows that the issue is serious in the case of private universities. By the way, in both cases, the result is not good. We know that the result is not good. It is announced official. The exit result as well as the entrance result is not good. But when we compare the government and the private universities, the issue is very serious in the case of private universities. That is why I am interested to identify what are the critical factors that affect students' exit result in the case of private university. Now, finally, Finally, I have categorized all the 29 factors into 7 components. Then I have calculated the relative importance index of each component, each factor, under the group or under the category. So finally, the group index was calculated. At last, what we have got is here are the 7 components. The 7 components. The first one is adaptability to students' abilities. Its group index is about 0.732. The second is student-centered engagement and responsibility. Its group index is about 0.728. And the third one is learning environment and institutional support. Its group index is about 0.722. If we work on these 3 factors, it is possible to improve students' exit result. This is what the output of my research work shows. Now, finally, let me give recommendation. So I have tried to give recommendation for 4 stakeholders. The first one is Ministry of Education. So Ministry of Education should prioritize teacher quality intervention and the student support program based on these group index findings, because the first 3 groups are very much critical to affect students' learning outcome. The second recommendation is for universities. So universities should use this students' feedback as a regular tool for school improvement, because in these 3 components, there are different factors related to teacher-student interaction, classroom environment, and so on. So if we handle all these 3 group factors or 3 components, it is possible to improve students' result by a certain extent. The third one is parents. So parents should build home environment that support focused learning. And the final one is donors or partners, align funding with high-impact groups, the 3 groups so identified in the study. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Have you tried to stratify the public universities on their own and the private ones? Because you have tried to put in one basket 202 private colleges and other 50 public ones in one basket. There are different public universities in terms of age and quality of service and things like that. And the same holds true for the private entities. Have you tried to stratify the achievements that you alluded to, the 2016 exit exam results? That's one question. Another one, you say you focused on St. Mary's University. In that regard, have you heard the results of St. Mary's University in the 2016 exit exam? That's my question. Therefore, stratifying would lessen the bias, because one private entity may have 10,000 students. 10,000 students might fail, or 10% could pass. Another, with 1,000 students, he could have, say, 60%, 70 students passing. That's why, categorizing 202 private colleges in one and 50 public ones in one basket, it would be difficult. Thank you very much.
Second, Mr. Henry. My question to the last speaker was already asked. This is our concern, particularly the private institution. There is a trend to put all the private institutions in one basket and the public institutions in another. If you have the chance to analyze the data, there are public universities who significantly failed to achieve more than 25%. So, whereas in the private sector like that of St. Mary's University, it's way above even the public university's average value. So, you should say something about that. But the next question is to you. I'm sorry, I didn't know your name. Getahu. I'm very much interested in the presentation. It was very brief, precise. And I have 2 questions. I mean, it's not a question, I need explanation. You choose only 6 of the different kinds of email marketing strategies. What was the rationale to choose those 6 only? And your case studies on the SMU, right? There are huge brewery companies in Ethiopia, but you choose Sapira. And again, what was the rationale for the choice? The other interesting presentation was Edmialam's presentation. Your name is fascinating, Edmialam, if I pronounce it correctly. So I'm better than Shemelis in pronouncing. Edmialam, your research is very interesting. Irrigation, it was agriculture. In the morning session, there was a presentation about rural poverty. And we know Ethiopia's agriculture is mainly rain-fed, so we need to develop irrigation-based agricultural initiatives, and technology is handy in this area. But my question is, did you consider about how to scale up this practice? Is it practical? So that's my question. Thank you all for your nice presentation.
Thank you very much. Mine is not only just a question, but an opportunity for me to thank all these 4 presenters and the rest for coming to our conference. I do have one question for 3 presenters. The first one goes to Dr. Peshala, because you raised a very critical issue, which is the concern of even the government, because individuals who have stayed for more than 4 years at university are not just capable to pass, to get a pass mark for 100 questions, yes? So looking for the factors behind this failure is very much important. And you have tried your best. What factors are making these individuals or students not to have such passing marks? But I feel like your research is not just exhaustively looked at what factors really determine the success of a student. For example, what about exam-related issues? Who are the individuals preparing this exam? For sure, they are from the public universities, because I have the opportunity to review one curriculum, one program exams of this next exam. Therefore, things were not like we are thinking now. They are doing haphazardly, because one individual is just preparing 500 questions, see? And then one individual will come and review that. Having this scenario and ignoring such context of exam preparation and looking for other factors which are assumed to be critical for their failure is not just enough. Therefore, you have to be comprehensive enough so that other factors should be looked, like exam related, the curriculum by itself, which is related to the blueprint, and so on and so on. And even you should have a comment on the reliability of this exam in measuring students' success at university. Is it really a success to have pass mark on next exam? That is one question for you. The next one is for Gitaho. I really appreciate your PowerPoint. It's very much interesting, and even it is just unique. The issue is very interesting because nowadays technology is just penetrating all our lives. Promotions are made on social medias and so on and so on. It has many advantages. At the same time, there are drawbacks. Like, for example, the issue you raised, promoting beer on social medias. Beer, it has age limit, like children under 18 age should not be part of this promotion, and they are not consumers of this product. Therefore, the social media promotion is just the highest priority, the highest impactful way of strategy to promote this beer. But how do you see the ethical issues? Because the social media, the Facebook, the Telegram, others are just open for all individuals regardless of their age in our practical scenario. Therefore, how do you see the ethicality of such promotions in safeguarding the children who are under age for this product? My second question goes to Mekonnen, internationalization. I appreciate the systematic literature review, but I do have a question regarding the time frame that you have taken. That is 1992, 25, I think. Like 34 years of research. And you came up with many thousands of articles. Don't you think that it's not fair for me to look for 39 years back to refer internationalization and innovation as this time? Therefore, what is the reason behind to trace back to 1990? Is there any special case? Because internationalization and innovation, they are very much contemporary. Things are changing dynamically. Therefore, what's the need to go back to this?
From both categories. There are small universities who outshine. But as I have stated in my research title, my study focused on group index, not individual one. So I have analyzed both the secondary and the primary data based on the group index. I have analyzed the secondary data using mean group index, and I have analyzed my primary data using relative group index. So I have explained here, I have presented here only the group index, not the individual ones. That is why I have said that based on the group index, the average passing rate of a student is about 39.1%. But there are universities whose passing rate is about 96% from private university, whose passing rate is about 100% from public university. I have seen that one. But they are small in number because our main target is to show the group index of all the universities in the country. That is why I have said that most of the universities have failed to pass the existing exam. That is why. But I understand. I have seen the detail. I have seen my university result. I am from St. Mary University. I have seen the result. It was good in 2016. But when we talk collectively, because we are going to see the collective result, when we talk collectively, the result is not good. That is why I have conducted to identify the critical factors. I think I have answered the question for you. The second one is, you know that every research has its own limitation. So I have included factors which were identified from literature survey, but I have not included factors from outside of this literature survey. That is why I have not considered who prepares the exam, something like that. This is my research limitation, so I will take it as a limitation.
Thank you for the interesting questions. Just to recap what has been forwarded. The first one is five e-marketing strategies, why not additional ones? The second one is, why did you select only Ambessa, why not other brands? And the last one was like, how do you see the ethical consideration regarding digital or age limits toward this, the digital advertising? Let me start from the first one. The first one is like, one of the key factors for selecting these 5 e-marketing strategies was scope. So just to limit the scope. The second one is the 5 e-marketing strategies are the most practiced in Ethiopia. So to minimize data loss or like scarcity of data, I have just focused on the 5 e-marketing strategies. The second one was why Ambessa? It's a very interesting question because in beer landscape where 60 plus brands roaming and more than 4 to 5 industry players playing in the ground, selecting Ambessa is a priority for me. One of the things why I have selected Ambessa was like most people, whether those are consumers or non-consumers of any beer, remember that back in 2018, Ambessa was one of the controversial brand that has been launched into the market. And most people perceive that it's because of Ambessa that has initiated the proclamation. So I just want to understand if it is from Ambessa or not. And most other brands practicing e-marketing strategies have implemented well, and they have well-structured platforms regarding to this one. Understanding Ambassa also revealed a lot of insights for me, which I have not been presented. I have never presented on this finding because this is a top line. One of the things, it has impacted the brand massively. While the controversy increased the brand awareness, but it has impacted the sales of Ambassa due to bad mouth or related to the advertising ban that resulted in back in 2019. How do you see the ethical issue of age limit? Well, I can see this from, it emanates from the proclamation, because the proclamation clearly states that the ban of 8L, it specifically says mass media. And it has also policy issues regarding digital space, which has not been even addressed until now. So the digital space, specifically the social media, is still open. The ethical consideration, if you go to each and every company website, there is an age limit. So they just demand you to just enter your age to just go through all their websites. So I can say that this emanates from, not from the company's perspective. I would say that, or conclude that, it's a government problem. A policy needs to be drafted that can filter age limits, and it has to be put on table for proclamation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your question and comments. The first question is very important: how to scale up this IoT-based digital irrigation system. Yes, how to scale up this digital irrigation system. It is very important question, because when we scale up it, we will improve our productivity. So how to scale up this? By doing collaboration, any experts like technology experts, agricultural experts, water experts, and irrigation experting. By doing collaboration, we can scale up in order to minimize, in order to modern the technology or the systems, and also in order to minimize the initial costs. We also doing with the financial sectors. And then finally, we give a training to this system for the users. The users may be what? Farming community, researchers, and others. So we should, it's already started from, now we started, and then we scale up it by doing collaboration. Not only collaboration, not only scale up, but also now it is new for farm community to use in simple ways. But in order to minimize these challenges, we should prepare the training systems. So by using this, I think we collaborate doing this and scale up it. I think that. And the other questions: how to minimize water wastage or water loss by using this. When we use this IoT-based digital irrigation system, it is an alarm. By giving an accurate data at real time from 5 up to 25 kilometers distance from field up to our office. And then when we see on the digitalized in our machine, like computer or smartphones, and then is the crop is required water or not? That's soil moisture based. At that time we applied based on crop requirements. When we use conventional irrigation, the farmers or any researchers applied irrigation water randomly. At this time, someone apply irrigation water, over irrigation or deficit irrigation. When we apply over irrigation, there is water logging. Due to this, there is reduction of yields. And there is a deficit irrigation, there is also yield reduction and also water losses. Due to this, it is due to alarm when we apply and how much we apply. By using this technology, we minimize the water losses. And can we use a model Yes, when we use statistical analysis, there is a linear regression models, but in presentation, I missed. But is there any correlated models? Yes. That's the relation between water from IoT based to the crop yields. So there is a correlative models in the results. I think these are the questions. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think on my part, two important questions. One question is almost similar. I think my literature is focused from 1990 up to 2024. It is a 34-year literature. To tell you the fact, this long range of reviewing of literature is saving you from bias, and it is highly helped you the historical development of each internationalization and innovation. To tell you the fact that when I started this study, I focused on sub-Saharan African only on my first papers. Then when I traced this literature in the Scopus and Web of Science, I found only 12 articles. And based on that, I reviewed. And almost I completed the write-up. But my advisor told me that it is a small literature and it's limited scope, and it doesn't tell me about the historical background of internationalization, its development of innovation. So it is better to take more focus on the global as well as to broaden the year. So again, I completely canceled that article and start from the scratch. And I studied from 1990 to 2024. This helped me to understand the theoretical development of each category, internationalization and innovation focus. There are so many theories are developing through these 34 years. And there are also some developments. Uppsala model, for instance, it's a long year of theory. And later on, that cancelled by Born Global theory. So it is highly important to look more depth the literatures. The other questions is Matthias, I think the Matthias already answered. Dumble asked me, is there any development in the theory and gaps? There is a gaps. In fact, there is a development in the theory, but I found also the gaps because most of the theory are developed in the Europeans and in the developed countries, specifically in the USA and UK. That limit to use that theory in the developing countries, low-income countries in Africa and other countries. We directly took that theory, which is highly developed in the developed country. It is not compatible with the low-income country as well to use that theories. On the other hand, most of the theory is based on the big giant companies. So this theory, we use this theory for small and medium enterprise. So my study is, for instance, I focus on the small and medium enterprise. But I use the theory which is developed in the giant companies, in the big companies, in the manufacturing companies. When you look at it, there is a theoretical gap. So I found this and put in my literature. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for four of the presenters. It's really very interesting and exciting presentations.
Before we officially close this seminar, it's my privilege to invite a respected leader who will deliver the closing remarks. The speaker is known for bringing a wealth of experience and vision to our institution, and we believe his reflections will undoubtedly inspire us to carry today's discussions into actionable steps for our communities and beyond. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ted Lahaile, the Executive Vice President of St. Louis University, to the stage to give a closing remarks. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon. invited guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. We are now to conclude the day-long seminar after scholarly discussions. This annual event was launched 70 years ago to fill the gaps that were observed in the restricted topics entertained by the flagship conference on private higher education. As you remember, it was private higher education in Ethiopia, then developed into Africa through time. Now we call it the flagship conference, which had already had its 6th edition when the multidisciplinary seminar came into being. The multidisciplinary seminar was preceded by the Student Research Forum and followed by the youngest seminar on distance learning. As a result, opportunities have been opened for the young and the experienced researchers who might seek a platform for presenting papers. The scholarly papers presented today covered topics drawn largely from the disciplines of technology, economics, social works, and education. In terms of representations, the event witnessed paper presenters from 5 universities other than St. Mary's University and 2 non-academic entities. Thus, the diversity is reflected in thoughts, topics, professions, and geographic locations. In this regard, through the years, St. Mary's enduring legacy of commitment to research remains an embodiment of its strengths as much as the values it cherishes in teaching and community engagement. Finally, I thank the paper presenters whose thought-provoking presentations enlivened the day-long seminar, and you participants who dedicated your time despite the rainy morning. Of course, here outside it is raining now, I think, but it has not subsided. With the comments you gave, the discussions, by the questions you raised and the comments you gave. Gratitude also goes to the chairs, rapporteurs, and master of ceremonies. Thanks are due to the US Embassy, represented by Daniel, for allowing us the John Robinson's American Corner facilities. I think the history of John Robinson is briefed by Daniel, wasn't it? You briefed them? Not yet. Okay, finally, when you go out or during coffee hours, he will brief you. John Robinson was the pioneer pilot in Ethiopia. He came here to train Ethiopians. In 1928, immediately before 1928, I think. Immediately before Ethiopian calendar 1928. Last but not least is the research and knowledge management team led by Matthias, our colleague, whose commitment and diligence has not begun from today's event. For them, the team in general, it is a whole year exercise. The responsibilities of organizing 4 annual events and taking up the painstaking job of editing and publishing in collaboration with the SMU press, of course, rests on their shoulders. I thank them all. With that, I declare the seminar closed. I thank you.